In the great expanse of the cosmos, where stars are born and galaxies collide, there are moments of pure cataclysm, moments when the fabric of worlds is ripped apart, only to be sewn back together in new forms. Our story begins billions of years ago, when Earth was not yet the fertile cradle of life it is today. The solar system, in its infancy, was a place of constant turmoil. Planets were still forming, swirling through the debris of the early solar system, colliding, merging, and fragmenting as gravity played its part in shaping the worlds that would come to be. Among the many objects hurtling through space, there was one that would change the course of our planet's history forever: Theia. This rogue planetesimal, roughly the size of Mars, was drifting through the young solar system, moving along a trajectory that would bring it into violent contact with Earth. In this time, Earth was already a fledgling planet, constantly bombarded by other space debris, and it had barely begun to form its first crust. But Theia was not just any planetesimal. It was a planetary embryo, an object with the power to radically reshape the destiny of Earth. Then came the moment of impact, a moment that would send shockwaves across time and space. The collision of Earth and Theia was an event of unimaginable scale. The energy released was staggering, far beyond anything human comprehension can easily grasp. The collision vaporized Theia and much of Earth's outer crust, unleashing an explosion so immense that it turned both planets into molten chaos. The impact shattered the surface of Earth, forming a ring of debris that swirled around the planet. This debris would go on to form something that we would come to rely on for billions of years: the Moon. From this violent and destructive collision, something new was born. The molten debris that surrounded Earth slowly began to clump together, pulled by the forces of gravity. Over time, this swirling cloud of rock and dust began to coalesce into a singular mass, a mass that would grow and solidify into the Moon. But this was not the Moon we know today. It was a young, scarred, violent world in its own right, still cooling, still reshaping. It would take millions of years for this early Moon to stabilize, to become the faithful companion it is now. But its journey was only just beginning. The early Earth, in the wake of Theia's impact, was a molten, violent world. It was a place where volcanoes erupted constantly, where the air was thick with toxic gases and ash, and the surface of the planet was still in the process of cooling. In these early days, Earth was uninhabitable, with no oceans, no breathable atmosphere, and no solid land masses. The planet's surface was still too hot to support life, a world still in the process of becoming. But this catastrophic event was only the first in a series of transformations that would eventually create the conditions for life to emerge. Despite the intensity of the impact, Earth began to slowly cool over millions of years. The molten surface solidified, and the first oceans began to form as rain fell from the clouds, filling the lowlands and shaping the planet's geography. But these changes were not quick. They took time, and Earth's surface was still subject to violent volcanic eruptions and constant bombardment from other planetesimals. Earth's atmosphere began to stabilize, and eventually, the first solid land masses began to appear, though life was still far from being able to thrive. The Moon, formed from the very debris of Earth's violent collision with Theia, began to exert its influence over Earth. It wasn't just a passive object orbiting Earth. It was an active force, shaping the planet in ways that we are only beginning to fully understand. The Moon's gravitational pull created tidal forces that began to stir Earth's oceans, making them rise and fall in regular patterns. These tides were far more than just a rhythmic movement of water. They helped regulate Earth's climate and played a critical role in shaping the early coastline. The tides, in a way, acted like a cosmic heartbeat, helping to stir the early oceans, mixing the water and distributing heat across the planet. In these early, chaotic days, the moon's influence would become a crucial factor in the evolution of life on Earth. But the moon's influence wasn't just limited to the tides. It was instrumental in stabilizing Earth's axial tilt. Early in Earth's history, the planet's tilt would have been unstable, swinging wildly, which could have caused extreme shifts in climate, making Earth inhospitable for life. The moon, by exerting gravitational forces on Earth, helped stabilize the planet's axial tilt, allowing Earth's climate to remain relatively stable. This stability was crucial for the eventual development of ecosystems that would support life. The energy released in the Theia impact also set in motion the tectonic processes that would shape Earth's surface for billions of years. With the cooling of Earth's surface, the violent storms subsided and the planet began to settle. The first oceans, rich with minerals and chemicals, became the cradle of life. Life, in its simplest form, began to emerge in the primordial seas. The first organisms, simple microbes, began to take shape in the warmth of the oceans. Though life's origin remains one of the great mysteries of science, it is likely that the stability provided by the moon's gravitational forces, along with the chemical richness of the oceans, played a vital role in nurturing Earth's first living organisms. Life began in the deep, warm waters, perhaps in volcanic vents, where the Earth's energy and the resources from space met to spark the first sparks of life. From this point onward, Earth underwent a slow but transformative process of evolution. Over the course of millions of years, complex ecosystems began to emerge. The Earth-Moon system, born from a violent collision, had become a harmonious whole, with the moon's gravitational forces influencing not just the tides, but the very climate of the planet. The early Earth, shaped by the Theia impact, became the home to an extraordinary variety of life, from the tiniest microbe to the largest dinosaur. And, in time, it would give rise to the human species, who would look up at the moon with awe, unaware that their very existence depended on the forces unleashed in that distant, fiery collision. Today, Earth and the moon continue their eternal dance, each influencing the other, shaping the conditions that allow life to flourish. The Theia impact, once seen as a catastrophic event, was the catalyst that made Earth the habitable world we know today. It is a reminder of the immense power of the universe to shape and reshape worlds. What once seemed to be an end was, in fact, a new beginning. From the remnants of Theia, the moon emerged. From the chaos of collision, the planet stabilized. And from that violent birth, life emerged, eventually flourishing across every corner of our planet. The Theia impact, a moment in cosmic history when destruction gave birth to creation. It is the moment that set Earth on its path to becoming the world that sustains life today. And it is a story of cosmic forces, of creation and destruction, of how the universe shapes worlds and how worlds shape life.